We are back in Black and Building. Shout out to everybody out there at the corporate plantation doing what you gotta do to survive. I'm your boy Warren G, the place beef and clown and sucker free since 2003. Ain't no finesse me. Shout out to everybody out there. Shout out to David Bruno Carmine, James Youngblood, Eric Shani. All y'all out there, man. If I'm forgetting your names, I'm blanking. Sometimes I blank like it's recording. Look like the internet is back functioning or whatever. Shout out to everybody out there, man. We got a great topic to talk about. Anti-black is real. It is very real. We're going to talk about it today. We're going to talk about a band director from Alabama High School who got arrested and got embarrassed in front of his students. And we're going to get into that right now. This is going to be great. Let's get it. Y'all this article. I'm gonna read y'all this article. Alabama High School band director stunned, arrested after telling students to keep playing music, police said. Attendees and students at high school football game in Alabama last week were left stunned and confused after police officers stunned and detained a high school band director who told the students not to stop playing their instruments. The arrest took place when Birmingham police officers were attempting to clear the football stadium at Jackson Olin High School on Thursday, following the team's 27-0 loss to Minor High School. According to Birmingham police officer Truman Fitzgerald, a department spokesman, Fitzgerald told the Associated Press that the officers instructed both bands to stop playing so that people would not linger at the facilities. He said the Jackson Olin band stopped performing, but Miners band director Johnny Mims refused to silence his students. Instead, Mims told his students to keep playing. Then a scuffle ensued. During the officers' interaction with Minor band director, the decision was made to place him in custody. A statement from the Birmingham Police Department read, BPD officer attempted to take the band director into custody for disorderly conduct when a physical altercation ensued between the band director, Birmingham City School System security personnel, and BPD officers. Fitzgerald said that the band director refused to place his hands behind his back and then pushed the officer who put his hands on him. So another officer shocked the band director with a stun gun. According to Fox 6, someone who witnessed the arrest said the lights at the stadium were turned off as officers made their way to Mims. She also said that the officers sprayed mace, but not directly at any students. Paramedics treated the band director at the scene and then took him into hospital for further evaluation, Fitzgerald said. He was subsequently charged with disorderly conduct, harassment, and resisting arrest before being released after posting bail. The arrest sparked some controversy on social media, with some users remarking it was unnecessary and heavy-handed. Jefferson County Superintendent Walter Gonsolin declined to comment on this incident, telling the Associated Press that he is withholding judgment until the facts are known. Stop lying. I urge everyone to not jump to conclusions, Gonsolin said. The Birmingham Police Department's Internal Affairs Division is investigating the incident as a protocol whereas an officer uses force during an arrest. Jackson Olin High School is located at 1300 Avenue F in Birmingham. Minor High School is associated with nearby Adamsville. Here, let's see. What else? Man, they got something else on here, too. Excitement following the Alabama high school football team's victory was short-lived when the school's band director was tased by officers, local police said. Police were in the process of clearing out Jackson Olin High School football stadium in Birmingham following the September 14th win for Minor High School, which is in the Birmingham suburb of Adamsville, according to Birmingham Police Department news release. Then officers noticed both Jackson Olin's and Miners High School bands were still performing their music, police said. During the game, both schools' bands were battling it out musically that night, a photojournalist told WBRC6. Police officers spoke with both bands directors and instructed them to end their performance, police said in the release. Only Jackson Olin's band director stopped its band students from playing music further, police said. Miners High School band director Johnny Mims expected his band to keep performing, according to police and local news outlets. So basically, it was like a battle of the bands, which, all my southern people, isn't that normal for high schools to kind of like, after the game, you know, they still kind of play hype music for the team who won, you know what I mean? And then the other band will go back and forth. Like, isn't that kind of a tradition down south? Like high school bands and college bands are like the biggest thing. They play the best music. Those police officers just did, basically, in my perspective, the police officers just, like, get the fuck out of here, niggas. Stop playing that goddamn music so they ass to go home because we ready to fucking go home. And they decided to make his ass an example and just do, you know what they could have done? This what they could have done. They could have let that man keep playing. They could have pulled him to the side and say, hey man, we just trying to, this is a safety thing. And if you'd have kept doing it, let everybody leave, then we're gonna place you under arrest for disorderly conduct. We asked you several times. You didn't need to do all that. But the people in the South, y'all know, it's like the battle of the bands. That's why I'm like, shit was not necessary. You know, anti-black is real. Like, see, people think anti-black racism isn't real. It's real. People being anti-black is real. You know what? I came up with a theory. Y'all know this, and I'm gonna put this out here and I'm gonna let it alone. Y'all notice you got the Steve Harvey situation. You got the Tiana Taylor and Iman Shepherd situation. You got all these situations where people allegedly are separated, and I feel like there's black people, maybe Tethers and Coons, behind these stories. Because a lot of times we like to air each other out and be anti-black towards each other a lot of the times, and we gotta stop doing the devil's work. What I mean by that is a lot of these social media brands that are ran by the dominant society, they had the black folk putting out the stories about other black folk. And need I remind you, do you see the white Jewish community having white Jews put out stories about other Jewish people? No, they don't do that at all. You better not do that. You'll be ostracized from the goddamn community. But only here, and the reason why I say that is because when you look at Steve Harvey's situation, who aired that out? Who put that out there for everybody to see it? You look at the Iman and Tiana Taylor situation, maybe they were separated. Maybe they just, you don't know what they got going on. But all of a sudden, oh, he cheating. That's why. So it's like, sometimes we want each other to fail so bad, we will team up with the dominant society just to do that sucker shit. We gotta get off that. We gotta start having intrinsic value in each other and ourselves, man. And the reason why I say that is because this band director, I'm pretty sure they do that all the time. I'm gonna go on a whim. James Youngblood, David No Compromise, Shiny, Erica, one of y'all out here, my sister, somebody, anybody in the South, they do the battle of the bands all the time. So that's why I'm kind of like, what is up with this all of a sudden? You can't do the battle of the bands. They want you to shut up and put your band instruments away and get the fuck up out of here, niggas. It's like, damn, you can't win for losing. No, when we gonna understand that racism and white supremacy, it's a team sport. Just like that man from Rolling Stone or whatever basically said that black folk weren't articulate. Look, man, these people been feeling this way. These people been feeling this way. It's called slavery. That's why they've been feeling this way. That's why don't go out of your way to try to convince any other racial group about reparations and what we need. No, you need to convince yourself and make sure you stand with your racial group about reparations. Stop trying to explain everything. Look, there's another thing. Get off this going around here explaining racism and white supremacy to other racial groups. They've been taught this since they was a kid. Dominant society too. I get so sick of, you know what I tell white people? Go read Robert DiAngelo's book, White Fragility. Like I said, I remember one time I was at 24 Hour Fitness, and one of the brothers, a local brother that, he a truck driver, but he real knowledgeable. And he'll check your ass over that racial shit. So he was having an in-depth conversation with this white lady. I told this shit before. And it was a white lady, it was him. It was a dude from, oh God, where's Foxy Brown and Nicki Minaj from? I forgot, I'm blanking. Trinidad. It was a brother there from Trinidad. And he was just listening, then there was a white boy. And when I walked in, he was like, oh, my brother, Warren G, hey man, school these motherfuckers, man. So I was like, man, what's the subject matter? Like, what are we talking about? He was like, man, we just talking about how they trying to infringe the LGBTQ community on black folk. And just because we don't want to accept a lot of that, we're looked at as racist and bigots and all that. And I just simply started quoting books. I didn't even start talking about what I felt. I said, on this subject matter, first we have to deal with racism and white supremacy before we deal with any other matters. And the white lady was like, she kind of was like, well, what do you mean? I was like, there's no diss to my LGBTQ community, brothers and sisters. I love them dearly. They're human beings, and we got love for them. We may not support a lot of the stuff that they got going on or their lifestyles or whatever. I said, to me, that could be a time-wasting mechanism. And the white lady was like, well, what do you mean? I said, racism, white supremacy is first. She was like, why do you keep saying that? I said, the system of racism, white supremacy needs to be replaced with a system of justice, meaning the racial group that needs the most constructive help gets the most constructive help. And she was like, yeah, but what does that mean? I said, for instance, foundational black Americans have built this country for free without repayment. Every other racial group has got a repayment, whether it's the Chinamen for finishing the railroads, whether it's the Japanese for Hiroshima, whether it is the dominant society, white Jewish community who got reparations for the Holocaust. That didn't even happen in the United States of America Incorporated. That happened in Europe. And I'm glad that those brothers and sisters, were recognized for the atrocities that were inflicted upon them in the white Jewish community. That was a terrible thing that they did to the white Jewish community. She was like, oh, okay. I said, but when it comes to foundational black Americans, she was like, what does that mean? I was like, that means you can trace your lineage back to the 1866 Census Bureau. Meaning you're not a first generation immigrant or anything like that. Like, your family was immersed in the antebellum period. She was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. This was an educated white woman too. She wasn't dumb. So she was like, so she said it. She said, what you're saying is, it's not that black folk, and I said, I'm not speaking for all black folk. I'm just saying my perspective is, I think we need to shift what we're concentrating on first and get it right with the people who built this country for free. And she was like, well, why do you think we built this country for free? I said, as many books as I've read, it doesn't talk about any other racial group picking cotton. It doesn't talk about any other racial group dealing with the atrocities that we dealt with. I said, I even told her, I said, I have books like the New York Kidnapping Club. I have books like 100 Years of Lynching. I have books like Slavery by Another Name. And all these books that take place in the antebellum period, it talks about foundational black Americans building this country for free. It talks about how much money was made off the cotton era. It would translate to billions of dollars today. It talked about how much slaves were worth when you look at A Sweet Taste of Liberty about Henrietta Woods. It talks about in the matter of color. I said, I can go on, and I told her, I said, because my brother was like, see, this brother, no. I said, look, this is not about who knows the most. I'm citing these books as sources so you can know where I'm getting my information from. And all I'm saying is, after reading and learning about all these great atrocities that have been done to foundational black Americans in this country, why is it we're concentrating more on the LGBTQ community and they get hate crime laws and the Asians get hate crime laws, but when it comes to black folk, it's the benign neglect policy? And the white dude, he didn't know a lot. He couldn't really follow along. And he was like, hey man, can you give me those books again? And he was like, man, I gotta read these books. I didn't even know these books existed. I said, man, let me tell you something. I didn't either, but I came to know and love these books. And these books are the backbone of my narrative. And my narrative is to replace that system with a system of justice, meaning the racial group that needs the most constructive help gets the most constructive help. I could have beat that sister down. I could have destroyed her, but I just tried to get her to understand, why are we, I said, remember the Iraq war? If bin Laden is in another country, why are we going to Iraq? He's not even in Iraq, but we're going to Afghanistan, but we should be going to Afghanistan, but we're not. We're going to Iraq. But why are we going to Iraq when bin Laden is in Afghanistan? That's what I mean. And we're wasting time, and that's what I mean. I said, there's no diss to the LGBTQ brothers and sisters, but what I'm saying is, during the antebellum period in the slave days. I never read anything quoting Christopher Columbus about LGBTQ. They were slave breeding. You couldn't slave breed and everybody was LGBTQ. You can either be in that or you can be private about that, but you can't be private about being black. And I said, again, we got love for our brothers and sisters, but shouldn't we pause that situation for a little bit? Or what do they say? Table that in corporate plantation terms? Why is it we can't table that situation and let's focus on what is deserving of foundational black Americans? That's all I'm saying. How many more black folk got to get killed before we can get a hate crime, a black hate crime law, anti-black hate crime law put into place? Why is it other racial groups could come here? I said, you're a dominant society Caucasian, correct? She was like, yeah. I said, once upon a time, it was just Caucasians and black folk, right? So there was no blurring of the lines. She was like, yeah, you're right. I said, now you have other groups that come in here, other racial groups that come in here, and I have no problem with that. The problem that I have is these other racial groups come here and then they push the needle so far to the right, black folk can't even speak about what has been done to us. I said, and the first time black folks speak about slavery, it's like, oh, that happened so long ago. But when the white dominant society, Jewish community start to speak about the Jewish Holocaust, nobody will never tell them that happened so long ago. But when it comes to black folk, we got to be like, well, that happened so long ago. And my thing is, we need to focus on what matters most. And what matters most is if black folk have built this country for free without repayment, isn't there a debt that should be paid first before we can move on to other issues that are involved in this country, the United States of America? I said, whether it's reparations or anti-black hate crimes, should we focus on that, right? Isn't that only fair? We didn't build the country, whether you agree or not. People lie, numbers don't. And these books, why is everybody saying the same shit? Why? And she was just like, no, I understand what you're saying. That does make total sense. I said, I'm not saying it because I expect you to agree with reparations. I'm saying it because I'm trying to show you the burden of proof that the benign neglect policy is real, and black folks have been under this benign neglect policy for a long time. And every time we speak up about what is owed to us, it's always about race. It's always about slavery. And I told that white lady, I said, it's going to always be about race. Because racism, white supremacy is a team sport. and that's where the focus is. And she was just like, no, I get it. Of course she ain't gonna agree with reparations because, in my personal belief, dominant society people that are not confident, they don't want us to be equal to them. Dominant society people that are confident and don't give a fuck, gonna be like, give it to them. Shit, we ain't tripping. We got ours. That's all that is. And the only reason why I know that is because when you're black and you're around confident, dominant society people, they don't even, especially at the core plantation, when it's a confident dominant society person, not arrogant, but confident, they don't give a fuck about none of that sucker shit. Oh yeah, by the way, when they're a confident dominant society person, they can't stand no Sambos, no coons, they don't respect you, and they don't want you around them. They don't like that meritorious manumission Haywood Shepherd bullshit either. But I'm just saying, we have to understand that. But we have to stop maintaining the system. What do you mean, Warren? We gotta stop being willing to do the devil's work. And let's start calling out the people that are benefiting from our culture, the Adam 22s, the fucking, what's the other motherfucker? I forgot his name. Vlad TV and all these other motherfuckers, man. We gotta stop allowing people, those are degenerates that couldn't make it in their culture, so they come over here and they become somebody of substance, when really they have no substance. Their substance is off the backs of black folk. I'm literally watching Black Labor, White Wealth again with Adam 22 and Vlad TV. I'm done. Guilty, nigga. Peace.